Well, hello YouTube. Here we are with a little bit of a video. This one here is kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly of the 14-foot all aluminum Forrest River cargo trailer with the 24-inch slant wedge front nose package. Well, the good, as you see, it's aluminum. With the aluminum checker plate, aluminum fenders, steel wheels, tinted windows, screwless exterior, which leaves or makes for a beautiful trailer. Now, I had the dealership install an RV door and windows in said trailer, and they installed very, very well. As you see on this side, there is the RV door as well as a 30 by 36 egress window. And on this side here, it's pretty much a blank canvas except for a 15 by 30 window at the top. Again, LED lightings all the way around, the aluminum checker plate fenders as well as, the aluminum checker plate around the front. Again, this trailer is an all aluminum design. That means frame, framework as in the wall studs, the sheeting, everything's aluminum with the exception of, the coupler, the axles, and, springs, obviously. Inside the trailer is a beautiful cabin type of an area. This is the roof vent that I had them install as well, so there was 4 things that I had them custom touch do to this trailer that other trailers would not have. As you see, it has the wood paneling around with strapping to cover the joints, and as you see, this is the emergency egress window, looking at it from the inside out. Now, when they installed the RV door, it was a one-piece capsule. Basically, this door was not the original door for the trailer. They had to take it out and put this one in. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this was had to make the hole larger or not, or if it was a direct drop-in. However, if they did a fairly reasonable job. The beads of silicone are fairly evenly spread around, so it's not all gobby or gorpy. The only thing that looks a touch out of place is, a couple of pop rivets along this edge. Must have been where the tin was walking, but, that's no real biggie there. The 30 by 36 egress window, again, is the same way. There is a little bit of silicone along the outer edge here. Again, that's to seal it from water penetration. There's a little bit of paint marker or something here where they must have drew, the outline, but again, that will, come off. It's coming off with my fingers, so it's not a huge deal. There's a little bit of a rub on this here window, but if it really bugs me, I could, touch that up with some touch-up paint. The back of the trailer, has the big barn doors. Now, some of the edging or the 45-degree angles on these barn doors are a little bit off, and they put silicone in to cover, the gap. But again, when you consider the original intended purpose of this here trailer, it was never meant to be a camper. They were meant to be a utility trailer, a quad trailer, hunting trailer, contractor trailer. So fit and finish weren't the, priority. When the sun hits it right, there is a couple of nicks in this back door. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but there's one there. On a brand new trailer, it kind of hurts, but again, when you're dealing with a lot of trailers, sometimes things slip through on the, QC end of things, or quality control, but it's going to be a lot worse time I'm done with it. And really, a small nick or a small dent, that's, minor compared to what they could arrive with. This side here is fairly straightforward. Again, with the aluminum fenders, LED lights, you know, steel wheels, stuff like that. Again, with the 15 by 30 window, installed pretty much the same way with the silicone going all the way around it. Again, with, you know, I guess you could say she is good and sealed. In a minute, we will crawl up on the roof and have a look at the roof vent and the roof itself from the downside, from the upside down. So we'll go back on the interior here. Again, it is lined with utility grade plywood, and with utility grade plywood you're going to have issues. Again, that is expectable when you consider the intended purpose of this here trailer once more. If it was built to be a camper, it would have been finished with something a lot more, you know, user-friendly, a lot more pleasing, rather than, you know, utility grade material. I think they may had to have widened out the door, because there's a couple of burn marks in the floor from where somebody at one time did some welding. If this camera can pick it up, this trim piece, which should be stapled on, there is no staples in it whatsoever. It is completely loose. And this light switch is loose in the wall. The screw is actually, you know, half out, which they may have had to have done that to put the wider RV door in it. That's the only thing that really makes sense. Some of the fit and finish is a little bit off. Like you see here, these little strapping that runs all over the trailer, you know, overlaps a bit here and is kind of pulling away. But I can shoot some glue in there and call her good. The rest of the strapping looks, you know, fairly well. There's another couple areas here where the strapping itself is, you know, over by just, you know, 1/8 of an inch or 3/16 or whatever, which is no huge, you know, deal there. I can come back around with a Dremel. The screws themselves, the plywood, they're held on with screws over pop rivets. So if you ever had to take the panels off, you could. And the screws themselves are in a fairly straight pattern order, kind of. They're a little bit random in places, but generally as a rule, if you were having a bad day where your OCD was acting up, it would drive you crazy. However, again, for a utility grade trailer, all this is fairly good. As you see by the egress window here, you know, there is some rub marks on the handles, must have happened in shipping. The interior installation of the windows are quite clean. They did notch around the strapping and all the way around. There looks like there's no undercuts or overcuts. Everything looks like it's done, again, fairly clean. This one here is pretty much the same story. Nothing really off about it. Looks pretty decent. Looks pretty square in the hole. It's not angle-wise or messed up to boot. We recently had about 3 days of rain, and of course this trailer sat outside in all 3 of those days. And I checked it when the rain was going, as well as when the rain stopped. And there was no, at all, signs of moisture at all in this trailer, whether it was penetrating in from the walls or making its way from the windows or the roof vent. So on a scale of 1 to 10, this is definitely a 9.5 when you consider this was built to be a cargo trailer, a rough use trailer, not built to be a camper. If I ever did it again, I would probably order one a little more stripped down, without all the lining, without some of the extra things, and I would do all this myself. However, with that comes extra wait time, and with extra wait time means you won't get to use it at all for probably the first 6 months or year until you're able to actually receive the trailer and build the interior in it for your intended purpose. So let's grab the ladder and we'll look at the roof vent up on the roof and see what it looks like again from the top down. So here we are looking from the top down. As you see the roof vent there, it's covered with the sealant all the way around, so again protects the rain. Has a white cap on it which I've been told does yellow over time, but they're not that hard to change. It has a nice reflective silver roof, so it should reflect some of the sun and the heat and such. The roof itself is sealed all the way around, and even with the rain we had, it's not really holding a lot of water at all, so I guess we can call that a bonus. So the outward appearance again of the trailer is very pleasing. You know, with the screwless exterior, the balance of white versus the aluminum color with a touch of black, you know, thrown on in. Aluminum wheels would have been a nice added touch. I had a chance to upgrade at factory level. However, I chose to stay with steel just because, you know, it's a trailer and not a showpiece. The frame itself shouldn't rust, so it'll look you know, good going down the road for many years to come. The aluminum checker plate, it will oxidize. However, it can be polished back to a shine or coated with some other covering once it gets pitted enough that you, well, can't polish it anymore. The trailer jack, being a manual jack, doesn't need any power to operate, which is definitely a plus, because sometimes you have to adjust the height after it's unhooked from the tow vehicle. The slant wedge front package helps to with aerodynamics. Rather than pulling a giant brick wall, the wedge itself disperses the air, and then the slant itself makes the wind resistance, if you want to say, a lot less. The air goes up and over. So of course, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give the outward appearance of this here trailer again at another, you know, 9.5. They did an excellent job at installing the windows in the trailer, installing the RV door, and well, other than a little bit of paint marker and some rubbing from chipping on the windows, there really isn't anything wrong with this here trailer. You know, when you consider, give it a year or two, it's going to look a lot worse. Summertime is the summer of storms, so it's bound to get hail once in a while. And we all know what a hailstorm does to, well, a camper trailer. If that happens, well, we will cross another bridge at that time and go a different direction. So, again, the good on this here trailer is the weight. The way they balance the colors on this here trailer. It's not too bright, not too dark. It is the perfect size, the perfect height on the inside at 6 foot 6 inches. The perfect all the way around. The bad, of course, you know, there are some dings, some shipping damage, but at the same time, that is understandable with something this large. It's not like they can, you know, fold it down or de-inflate it, you know, to make it fit in a nice little package, you know, bubble wrapped and stuff. It's going to happen. Vehicles end up getting damaged as well. The bad, well, with the 6 foot 6 headroom, it's just a little over 8 feet tall when you're pulling it, so there is a little bit of wind resistance, but that happens no matter what. Even if you are pulling an RV trailer, you'll still get wind resistance as well. The ugly, well, there is steel wheels, as well as some of the steel bolts and components are showing a little bit of rust already, but we'll venture on back in a year or two, maybe have to give those components a touch-up with some paint, and see where it all goes from there. But pretty much, guys, like I said, this is the good, the bad, and the ugly of this here trailer. We will do other videos, of course, in the future of this here trailer. And the build will be good. The build progression will be nice to see how it all unfolds and what direction it goes from here. And as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's World. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.